Chiefs from 49 First Nation communities across Northern Ontario will select the next Grand Chief of the Anishinaabe Nation this summer. Alvin Fiddler is not seeking re-election, instead entering the campaign to be the Assembly of First Nations National Chief. Two candidates are running to replace Alvin Fiddler in the role. One is Bruce Shisheesh. He's a former chief of Wattawapiskat First Nation. The CBC's Matt Viss spoke to him about the issues in the communities that motivated him to run.
Number one is housing. We face a major need of housing. There are many homes with over 10 people living in the same house. Excessive overcrowding is the problem. It's another issue that we face is water issues, ending boil water advisories. Everyone in this country deserves a good and a safe drinking water. No one at any time should feel threatened by their community source water. So accessing clean water is an ongoing issue that must be advocating for the North. It's crucial for our health. We need clean water. And also, number three is health, the safety of our people in our First Nations communities. It's really important to me. We have a health system that needs to be addressed for the people in the North. And number four is education. Education is the key ingredient to a successful future for our young people. Children don't have a good education up north, so we need to address that. And number five is social justice. Missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and residential school, and the list goes on.
How did your time as chief in Attawapiskat show the importance of addressing these issues that are present in so many communities, and how do you think that would help you if you were to be elected Grand Chief?
Number one, I know how it feels to be a chief, as I've gone through it, as the issues that we face every day, like housing. Housing is still an issue to our First Nations communities, the reserves, and I know how it feels to be homeless. When I was leading in Attawapiskat as a chief, I didn't have my own place. I was homeless. My bed was a couch. I stayed with my sister and her children and the grandchildren, but it was an honor for me to stay with my sister and opening up her place for me while I was there as a chief. And, the crisis that we went through, suicide, it was very stressful, and I know this ongoing crisis that our First Nations are going through, such as housing and water and health issues and education, the social justice, and the list goes on. So, I know how the chiefs are feeling because I've been there. I feel for the chiefs, and I want to help the chiefs, and and just represent my people as a spokesperson and as an advocate to work with the chiefs. It's not what I want; it's what the chiefs want and desire, and just to advocate for the chiefs and the grassroots people.
How important do you think it is for the next Grand Chief to really be that spokesperson and that advocate for the chiefs themselves and be their representative when you're dealing with provincial and federal governments?
It's very, very important. we must continue to work harder and be. The reason why I'm running is to be a voice for my people and a voice for the chiefs. Just to put our issues on the table and say to the government, this is what we're going through. Like water crisis and the housing crisis, the suicides that we go through every day, and also the major problem that the First Nations are going through right now too is solvent abuse or drug issues. These things that we need to address, that we need help in our communities, and to remind the government that hey, don't forget us. It's almost like that we are a forgotten people, and these things are happening right in Canada, in the backyard. The government is looking and overlooking at our issues, and so we need to advocate. I need to advocate my people and work with the chiefs, and so as we deal with our social justice issues, about missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and residential schools is another thing. So we need to voice out our concern as a chiefs and as a Grand Chief. So that's the reason why I'm running for this election.
What opportunities for the future do you see for Anishinaabe Nation?
I see a light in a tunnel. We can make a difference, and I see that in our next years to come. It's time that our people learn to have that self-determination, and that we take our initiatives and say we're tired of being put last, or we're tired of being pushed around, and it's time that us First Nations people rise up and say, hey, we have a bright future ahead of us. We have a good future ahead of us. That we can be successful. Our young people can be successful. For Anishinaabe First Nations people, these are the things that we as leaders need to aim for.
Bruce Shisheesh is one of the two candidates running to be the next Grand Chief of the Anishinaabe Nation. He was speaking with the CBC's Matt Viss.